fellows. Well, it's me, back with my very not sporadic upload schedule. So, if you can't tell by either one, the title, or two, what you see right in front of you, this is Scourge of War, Waterloo. Wow. I should become a comedian, let me tell you. So this is going to be a really, this is going to be a long one. This is going to be a part of a series, really. Let me tell you, I'm by no means a master at this game. So, get a drink or something, and just watch me falafel about. Ah, that was great. So, in the meantime, while we're waiting for my past self to go and grab his water bottle, let me explain what's going to be happening here, basically. So I'm going to be recording, well, voicing over, really, what I did in the past tense, so I can explain it flawlessly to you. And it will be so flawless you won't even notice that I wasn't doing it in person, yes? Let's see, so, if you want to see someone play this game who's actually very good at it, and who's going to show you to win these battles like the best way possible, that person's not me. Go somewhere else. There's it's like, I think it's Dark Rod. I'll figure it out. I'll do my best if I remember to. I'll link him in the description. But he's who you're gonna want to see if you want to know how to actually play this game, because I'm basically just mimicking him to the best of my, shall we say, amazing ability. Truly awe-inspiring. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're going to be doing the French scenario, the full army scenario. I know, I'm just as insane as you think I am. Or I will be taking command of the whole Army of the North for the Battle of Waterloo. So the general plan here is I will be taking the Army of the North, well, I will be taking the 2nd Corps, plus some of the 6th Corps and Kellerman's Reserve Cavalry Corps, and going to Mont St. Jean. You may ask, but what about D'Erlon's Corps there? And whatever cavalry's off, infantry and cavalry's off to the right. Well, you see, that will be repelling the Prussians, along with part of the Imperial Guard at Place Sava. And I can hear you saying, but, what about the Brit? No, remember that guy I mentioned earlier? It's like Dark Rob or something? Yeah, no. Go watch his video. You'll figure it out why. Now, there is a certain thing about this, the French scenario which is broken. That's the victory points you need to win. I'm only going to call the second area a win if I make it to Mont St. Jean. And the reason I'm saying I'm only going to call the scenario a victory if I manage to plow my way through the Allied army to Mont St. Jean is because you only need 30,000 points to win, yeah? But there's one point on the map you need to win the game. It's any of the 3 buildings, really. But the easiest one to take is La Haye-Saint, the one in the middle. Just rush an infantry brigade up, charge the guys in the orchard, take the building. Congratulations, you won. Now you just need to fight the Prussians. Oh, what happened to the music there? Ah, there we go. So there I am, Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte of the Army of the North. The building right there on the left. Okay, here I go, looking down the D'Erlon's Corps. This will be the 1st Corps over there. Was Papillotte-La-Haye. Now I'm going back over the cavalry, which I am sure I will be making excellent use of throughout this entire battle. And by that I mean absolutely no use of this cavalry in particular. I might move it around later, who knows. Okay, now I'm using the order battle, I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, the command system there, whatever that button was, the order battle. There we go. I figured it out. So there's Milhaud's Reserve Cavalry Corps. And let's see. So I moved over to Devout. He is that is Devout? Yes? No. I'm still playing around with the cavalry, trying to figure out where they all are. Okay. You will note I have it paused right now, so nothing goes on. Alright, the Kellerman. This is the other reserve cavalry division. He is stationed behind Ryle's Corps, which is right in front of you, really. Well, part of it. Now, this unit right here that I just clicked on, that's the unit that historically started the battle off, and they will kinda, sorta, in my battle be doing the same thing, but they'll be kicking it off in the same spot. No. There's a much more efficient way of taking Le Hugemont than just charging Bowden straight into its teeth. And that's simply go left. You may think, oh, wow, that's sarcastic, but if you look, it's the point right behind Hugemont. That's where you want to be. Well, you don't actually have to get there to win. You can just take Hugemont, but why don't you take Hugemont? You can take La Haye Sainte, which is even easier. But I'm not about easy. I'm about, well, smashing my head on a wall until it works. Alright, so I'm figuring out where the cavalry divisions that I will be using are. So glad of me to finally remember cavalry exists in this game. Because cavalry does a very useful thing I found out almost by accident. Actually, it makes infantry form squares. And when they form squares, they're very, very bad at fighting other infantry, and they can't really counter artillery. So they get absolutely annihilated, which is basically all I use them for. Well, until I finally get off that charge that I dream of getting, but, you know. So I can already hear, okay, what's the big plan? Alright, now I'm looking over there at the Imperial Guard in the back. There's Laval's Corps crammed between 2nd Corps and the 2nd Corps and the Imperial Guard, which is behind us off to the bottom. The troops there you see deployed into the lines, that's part of 2nd Corps, not Laval's Corps. Laval is the 6th Corps. And his corps will be doing perhaps the most interesting thing you could possibly believe. I'll be splitting it in half. I'll be using half of it to basically attack right there, the right side, sorry, left side. I'll be sending it. Oh boy, if only I could slow down, smack myself from the past. Oh boy. Anyway, we'll be taking about half of Laval's corps and attacking the left side of La Haye Sainte, that building up there. I finally unpaused the game, so that's where you get the message that says, the battle's starting. And the first thing I do is immediately move up all of this artillery. And the French army just has so much artillery. If you told me the French army didn't have enough artillery, I would smack you if I could. You just turn around, there's another gun battery. It's ridiculous. So, as you can see here, the first thing I do for actually going to attack formation is I move up the Gauntier's brigade. Now I take the Bowden's brigade and I move it over here on the left. And I move it over in assault columns. That'll come in handy later, remember that. So essentially the first 10-20 minutes from this point on is just going to be me moving around a bunch of stuff, so getting ready. Because once stuff kicks off, it moves a little quick at times. Remember to stay hydrated, folks. Although, so, gotta love some soda. Okay, so I'm moving around on the left, on the extreme left of the French army. That's Pyre's division. Well, at least I plan on using him. Who knows if I'll actually use his cavalry. So I have no idea what happened here, but the AI decided something, and I was like, no. So that's what's... And, maybe just thinking, okay, well, surely the most effective strategy then, if all you need to do is take one building, battle is just take the easiest one, La Haye Sainte, and that would be true. You can do that. But maybe asking, how many points is it worth? Oh, it's worth 100 points a minute. Okay, what does that mean? Well, the battle is 9 hours long. 9 hours. That's 60 minutes an hour. Hang on, I have a calculator around here somewhere. I can do the math. That's 60 minutes in an hour. 6,000 points, okay. Well, times 9 hours, that's 54,000 points. And you only need 30,000 points to win the battle. So, you don't even need to do that much to win the battle. As far like, you can just do almost nothing. You can just do some light field maneuvers in front of the Anglo-Dutch line, you can win this battle. And that's not to say the Anglo-Dutch army won't do a thing, because they'll watch you do some light field maneuvers. Not much else. That's more about what the scenario itself than the actual game, though. So, which is why I do something, which is called inflicting unnecessary pain and suffering upon myself. You may ask, what do you mean by that? Well, you see, the Allied line isn't scripted to do anything until you attack it. Hey, guess. I'm going to attack the Allied line. Now, out of all the corps on the field, the second corps, well, from the French perspective anyway, is the biggest corps. We have about 72,000 men on the field. And if it only had to fight the Allied army, it would win, hands down. If it only had to fight the Prussians, it would win, hands down. They just don't have the men. But it has to fight both armies, and that can be problematic if you don't know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing, so it can be problematic. So here I am, fitting around with the smaller of Laval's two divisions. I do not like using Laval's corps, but that's more from the aspect of it's a very small corps. It's only 2 infantry divisions, and one of those divisions is about half the size of a normal division. Well, sorry, yeah, no, one of the brigades barely worth called a brigade. It's just 2 battalions. As you can see, there's a division right in front of Laval's whole corps, and it's about the same size. It's just has a couple, just has a single artillery battery compared to Laval's corps having 3 artillery batteries. So as you can see, I'm setting up the, I think that's, I forgot what brigade that is. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's not someone I use very often. Okay, so Jammon's brigade. I'm moving him. He shouldn't be in that formation. He should be in assault columns. So he'll reorganize himself. Hang on. I wasn't kidding when I said you should get like a drink or something, guys. So I'm basically going to be moving you through my process this whole time. So essentially what I want to do right now is I want to move for a bunch of guns, soften up the Allied position as much as I can. Then I'm going to initiate the attack with, it's the 6th and I believe the 9th Division. I know the 6th Division is the infantry division on the left flank of the 2nd Corps, and I think it's the 9th Division. I'll double check whenever I click on one of their units again, but I don't know how long that'll be. Now, if you think I'm going to sit down here and record the whole 9-hour scenario, no, please rejoice. I'm not that much of someone who wants to sit down and endure pain. No. I'll be splitting it down into segments, mostly due to, one, even I can't sit down and play a game that long, and thank God the game has a save, the ability to save mid-battle. Boy. So there, that's Waterloo. That is the 5th Infantry Division. I'll be using him to basically ram the Allied units between the Hugemont and La Haye-Sainte. So that flat area, that's where he'll be. He'll be having fun up there as soon as I secure La Haye-Sainte, and I'm confident that I can excuse me, hold the Prussians. So here's what I meant when I say you attack the left of the Hugemont. If you just want to take it, it is you take a brigade of the 6th Division, you move it over here, set it up, move it forward, let it reform, then you advance, and then you just give them the good news. By the good news, I mean give them the bayonet. And I can argue saying that's not good news. Well, you see, it's your brigade there against 3 allied battalions, and now those 3 allied battalions cannot hold off your brigade at a full charge. They just can't. There's no way you outnumber them almost 2.5 to 1. Now what you can do is take far less casualties than I'm going to in the assault on that little position. As you can see, I'm moving Pyre's cavalry division off to the flank here. There is an ally left, and I am very wary of inviting that to... I'm very wary of activating that by accident. I very much do not want to deal with that force. So if I can get away with not having to fight that division at all, I'm going to. So, begin the assault on the extreme allied right. You can see off in the distance, there's a little town over there. It's an allied division, about 7,000 to 9,000 men, I'm not sure off the top of my head. And I'd rather not fight them. Plain and simple, I don't want to bring in that many men on the 6th Infantry Division. Which is essentially going to be at the time that that Dutch division gets over here. Mainly because Bound's Brigade is going to be he's going to be busy, and I'll only have Swiss Brigade, which is sure it's bigger than 2 brigades, but I'd rather not fight a whole division with a single infantry brigade. So here I bring the 9th Infantry Division. There, they will be attacking the Hugemont directly. Oh boy, did I walk away from the computer for a moment? Alright, so I messed up this a bit. I should have remembered to click that button right there, which is toggle all. I essentially forgot, and that's what's going to cost me far more than it should, so I'm just going to start mashing the charge button there. Oh, I know I'm going to win this, but I've screwed it up. It's going to be much bloodier than I want it to be. I don't know why the unit there on the bottom of the screen isn't actually running forward like the rest of them. But, yeah. What you're about to see is going to be the wrong way of doing it the right way. Do not forget to press the take charge button. It will cost you, and it will cost you a very pretty penny. There's a little blue thing, a little blue number there below the green one, right under zoom. You want that to be as high as possible, because if that's a negative, it means you've taken more casualties than you've inflicted. As you can see, I've lost one of the battalions in the middle. They surrendered, and the battalion on the right there that attacked that singular unit has basically been driven off, and I am not seeing those guys again. So I've basically lost about the third of Bowden's brigade, as I very quickly go, crap. But either way, I have still secured the position. So there is that. Oh, no, never mind. I didn't lose them yet, but I know they will be taking a very long vacation. So what I'm going to be doing now is bringing up the 6th Infantry Division's artillery. No, sorry, my bad. I'm going to clear out these Englishmen so that I can bring up the artillery of the 6th Division. Because that is very important to what's going to be happening in the next phase. Okay, yep. And bring up those guns, because they possess canister, and that is going to become vital in about 5 minutes. Well, not 5 minutes, more like 10 to 15 minutes, but still. The reason it's going to become vital is off behind that road in there, where those guns on the top of the screen are. There's another infantry division. Well, it's either, I think it's a Hessen. No, not Hessen. Hanover. It's a Hanoverian division. And that has the potential to come flying down like a bat out of hell. There's also, right behind the Hugemont, there is the Coldstream Guards, which is about 2,500 men in 2 battalions, which could potentially be a problem. So what I'm doing right now is I'm kicking out skirmisher units. Essentially, I'm splitting off 100 men groups from the battalions, and I'm doing this for 2 reasons. 1, it slows down the Allied advance, and 2, it's actually going to put this guy back in the positive for score. I mean, overall, he's not going to be doing very well throughout the rest of this battle, but any little advantage helps. So what I'm doing right now is I'm bringing up the artillery for Pyre's cavalry, and over there, yeah, that's where that Dutch division is. I do not want it saying hello in any way, shape, or form. Alright, so as you can see, I have the Gaunthiers Brigade engaging the Dutch at the orchard, the woods there in front of the Hugemont. There is part of, that's Picot's Brigade of, I think it's Kellerman's Cavalry. Well, it's Kellerman's Corps, but I don't remember exactly who their commanding officer is off the top of my head. So I'm going to move them up. The closer I get them to the front, the easier they are to pull up when I need them. Alright, so I turn take charge off so I can move them there. Then I immediately take charge of the officers again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the artillery battery and just shove it in front of the rest. That way the guns can have some fun. Now, I've not really taken a good long look at the Grand Battery, but you can rest assured it's over there and it's having fun with the Allied line. The Allied Center just does not have enough guns to compete with the Grand Battery. Not only doesn't have enough guns, it also has worse guns to boot. That's not to say that their guns are bad in any way, shape, or form. No, it's just that the Grand Battery is just an excellent piece of work. That entire line that you saw just there, right in front of where the First Corps is just an absolute hellhole for any Allied divisions put in front of it. Wellington was something genius to decide to put the majority of his men on the other side. So right now I'm just moving the 5th Infantry Division around, making it look a little pretty. So over here is part of the division I brought over from Laval's Corps. That's the brigade I was talking about, which I think don't really qualify as a brigade because it's so damn small. So there I'm looking at some of the preset formations. I'm just going to put them in, pretty sure early anyway, but yeah, I put them in assault column, which tends to be the default formation I use for all kind of things, unless I'm moving in a line. So over here, that's one of the reserve cavalry. That's part of the Imperial Guard. That's what that cavalry division is for, anyway. I tend not to move them around, units around by their corps, because that's just a pain in the neck. I tend to move them around by division. Over there, it's one of the 2 Old Guard regiments. Alright, so over here, this is the center of the Anglo-Dutch line. And they are going to catching absolute hell from the Grand Battery, which I don't know if I'm looking at. Well, I will look at. No, I'm going straight back to look at the 6th Division, which is commanded by Jerome Bonaparte, actually. One of Napoleon's brothers. The King of Westphalia. So what I want to do is I want to drive off that infantry battalion way out there. And I kind of want to use a cavalry to do that, but at the same time they can just form a square if I only use cavalry, so I'll have to also bring up at least one infantry battalion. But at the same time I don't want to trigger the Dutch division way out there on the flank there. So essentially this first segment, we're about a third of the way through it. And I'm just going to be moving a couple of forces around, so I'll take a moment to explain what this first segment's going to be about. It's basically just going to be about Hugemont, and whether or not, well, I already know what the end result will be, but it's just centered all around Hugemont. I've already set up the 6th Infantry Division is in the right spot. It's where I want it to be. Now I just need to get the other two divisions, the 5th and the 9th, up to where I want them to be, so I can hopefully take Hugemont. Here I am fixing one of the line battalions that was off doing its own thing, not being very helpful, mind you. But Hugemont is a very, very painful position to attack at. So this is Ryle, the commander of the 2nd Army Corps, which is basically who's having all the fun right now. So there is the cavalry from the Imperial Guard again. I don't know why why did I keep looking at them? Was it because I wanted to move their guns up, but I didn't want to? I think I wanted to move their guns up, but I don't think I ever did. Alright, so I'm going to be moving, I think, Jammin's Brigade off to the left of Hugemont. Soon, anyway. Okay. So I know the Prussians will arrive, but I have some time. I have about, they can arrive anywhere from about, the earliest I've had them arrive personally is around 2:30, which is incredibly early. They normally never arrive that early. Normally though, they arrive around 5. That's when they did historically anyway, 5 in the afternoon. But you can have them arrive at different times, and it can be a bit of a surprise if they arrive way before you were expecting them to. In fact, what I could have done instead of attacking Hugemont is I could have just had this entire first hour just set up to moving troops in a position to counter the eventual Prussians before I even attacked anything, because the Allies just won't do anything until I get within about 150 yards of their line. So, you know. So that's a unit that's routing off the field right now, and basically just behind that crest of the hill is where that infantry division is, and I do not want to see them coming. I know I keep mentioning it, but that's just because the 6th Division is going to be so beat up whenever they do arrive, that it'll be an absolute pain to repulse them. I'll have to pull something from either the 9th or the 5th Division to help. That'll screw everything up. Because my plans, they tend to be good plans, but my plans tend to end up being along the lines of, if you fuck it up, it's going to take a lot to fix, and I'm not going to enjoy it. So what I didn't hit toggle take charge off all the units, and that's because I did not want to move the battery as well. Because if I'd moved the battery as well, it would have taken off the firing line. Right, so there's the... I want to move up the supply wagon for the 6th Division so I can resupply the guns, so they can do canister. Now, skirmishers also have another very useful role. You can shoot through them, if you're behind them anyway. It doesn't really work the same way if you're in front of them, sadly, but... Well, I mean, sadly, it's a good thing. The AI doesn't use skirmishers in the same way that a player will, which is a little less, let me tell you. So basically, right behind Hugemont, I'd love to charge cavalry there. You may have caught a brief glimpse of those massive 2 brigades there with the Coldstream Guards. And I just need them to commit to something, anything, before I make a move. I just need to figure out what they're doing, and currently looks like they're moving the reinforced Hugemont. Because I'd love to move up Jammin's brigade on the left side of Hugemont to make it even easier to capture. Because that's the thing about a fort, and Hugemont, Lehigh, and Papilot. No, sorry, Papilot, Lehigh. My bad. They're considered forts names, so they give you they give the brigades battalions that are positioned inside a defensive bonus, and you just don't attack just one side of the fort. It's just stupid. It is incredibly wasteful of men. The most efficient way is just to pump out a bunch of skirmishers, split them off in your battalions, just surround 2-3 sides of the fort, and then just wait it out, because those skirmishers will eventually just kill everyone in that fort. You just move the rest of the brigade in and just sit on it. So right now I'm moving around to there's Milhod, Kellerman, there's Bonaparte himself, sitting on Labella Lines. So I have a little over 1,000 points there. That may not seem like a lot, but as soon as I get a brigade into the Hugemont, it's just to start stacking up, just adding up really quick. It may not seem like it's going to be quick, but it's just going to start adding up quick. Skirmisher and one of the infantry battalions, infantry battalions, to shove that brigade off into the I'm going to run away forever part. I'm going to move over one of these infantry battalions, because it looks like the Colchester Guards are going to reinforce Hugemont, which is, it kind of sucks, but I mean, I'd rather have them over there than attacking what's left of Balance Brigade after that really terrible showing they performed. So right now I'm just moving them around a bit. I mean, I'm really caught. I don't want to go too far left and risk activating the division over there. So I'm just. At the same time, I want to have that wide flank around the Allied line, but I just can't with that division stationed there. So I don't know what the Coldstream are doing, but it looks like they're falling back or advancing the Hugemont. Make up your mind. Please, just make it. Alright, but back to my incredibly consistent uploading schedule. I cannot promise that, I can, doesn't mean a little word, that I will put out the entire battle eventually, which will end up being a little over 9 hours because intros and outros. But, you know, I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. You can bother me if you really want to see the rest of it. Alright, so here I am. But, while I'm over here hard and looking at who knows what else, because nothing's really happening with Hugemont right now. It's like, if you want me to do something, record something, put it up on YouTube, something in particular, let me know. If I have it, I'll probably do it. Who knows when it'll get out there. But if I say I'm gonna do it, it's gonna get done. Most of the time. Okay, so there I am moving over the other half. Well, I say half, so like 2/3 of the 6th Corps. To Place du Bois, and that is where the Prussians will go. And hell, you could win the entire battle off just waiting until the Prussians arrive and then holding Place du Bois. You don't even need to fight over the Allies, which is the problem with the scenario. If you fight from the Allied perspective, you are going to have an actual battle. Not if the French scenario, you don't do anything. No, not much of a battle. It's just two armies staring at each other and the French artillery having a field day. So I, for a moment there, go, why is this artillery battery doing something it shouldn't be doing? Go back, and I'll go, wait a moment. That's one of the artillery batteries for the infantry division I'm sending over the other way. So I'm just scrolling through her, and I realize, yes, it is, okay. Bummer, but need them to have all of their artillery. Otherwise, I will be having a not good time. So I send the artillery battery over. And then I grab this guy, which I should have grabbed in the first place, to be the artillery that I'm shoving up there, which is the Laval's Reserve artillery. Which is, yeah. It's not that Laval's 6th Corps is a bad corps. It has good troops in it. It's just small. Like, as you can see the entirety of the corps. When the battle started, it was all just right there, sitting between the Imperial Guard and the 2nd Corps. It's not a lot of men. It's like 9,000 men with everyone put together. The 6th Infantry Division, the one I was talking, I have on the extreme left, it starts off as almost 6,500 men. It's one of the biggest divisions in the French army. Well, in the army of the North anyway. But that just puts into perspective just how small Laval's corps is. Alright, so I'm going to move up the cavalry and force them in the square. I move the cavalry in a line, then I charge with war sabers. So I realize that they're just a bit too far away, so I move them up a little bit. Boy, my computer's having a fun moment again. Please have a seizure some other time. I can see it, so I can't. Come on, computer. Okay, I'm doing something on the Hugemont. That's very helpful. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to be moving up the Gauthier's brigade to actually fight over the Hugemont. There's Coldstream Guards not doing anything I expected. Way to keep me on my toes. But then I take charge, so I won't have the same mistake that happened to Bowden's brigade happen. So I don't know if you can see the whole brigade advancing. I'm just gonna have them walk up and charge. I'm just gonna take the losses on the chin. I just need to take Hugemont. It is the key to attacking the Allied right, which is the point right behind it. Especially since Coldstream Guards aren't actually in the Hugemont. It looks like there's no one in the fort itself, which I actually was not aware of at the time. So I could have just marched any unit right on over and had taken the fort. Just like that. So since the Coldstream Guards are coming, I'm going to move those guys back. Since it would be very, very bad for the Coldstream Guards to have fun. Alright, so they managed to force them to form squares, so now I just need these infantry battalion, which is just a little bit too far. I need them to start teaching that English Line Battalion, why it does not get to have fun whenever it forms square, because I am watching them like a hawk. By a hawk, I mean a goldfish, because I have the attention span of one. Most of the time, anyway. You can see over there, there's the artillery of that Dutch division I was talking about. I get a little antsy. Just how, the fact that I can see them is just, nope, don't like that. Alright, so I did not actually press, so they're forming line, not because, you know, I did anything wrong, it's just once they get close enough that they'll do it anyway. So I just tell them to charge it anyway, basically after I tell them to form back up the assault column. What I want to do is I want to get on that wall. That wall has the highest damage reduction in the game. So I do not want to sit there and trade. I'm just going to get up there and get those Dutch the bayonet. And the first unit runs off. I keep mashing the charge button. Basically, I wait for the second unit to run off. And then I notice, oh, well, the fort's empty. Let me just take this guy and shove him in there. I'll take this guy as well and shove him in there. I make that second Dutch unit surrender, so that's very good. I won't be seeing them again. But now I have the wall, so now I have the amazing defensive bonus. And I need to put my the leader, the battalion, brigade commander in the fort, otherwise I won't actually have captured the point. So I tell this cavalry brigade to go and make the Coldstream Guards form square. That would be very useful. I then notice that infantry battalion coming over to say hello, and I go, no, I don't want it there. So I'm moving my guys back. Now at this point, while I do technically hold Hugemont, it is very much up in the air whether or not the Allies can take it back. They can swing, if they swing the Coldstream Guards back around and commit an extra infantry battalion, they can easily take back Hugemont. I just currently do not have forces close enough to reinforce these troops. So I'm moving these, basically just moving these guys up a little bit so they can actually shoot over the wall. Then realized this guy actually is inside the fort. I click that button, not realizing what it does, and then I go back and fix it in a moment anyway. The button I just clicked was the resupply button, which means they will run over to the nearest supply wagon and get more in. Which is a very dumb thing. Make the supply wagon go to them. That's smart. But as you can see, there's basically no one in there helping out Gonthier's brigade, so I mean, the 6th Division is close, but it's not close enough for division. The Allies commit the infantry division that's right behind Hugemont to kind of just a full-on concentrated assault, damn consequences. So there I am, committing one of Pyre's counter brigades. So I'm reforming these guns there, and then I'm just going to move these guns up. Since they can't shoot at anything in front of Hugemont anymore, they might as well move so they can shoot the stuff behind them. So I noticed that I don't actually have control of Hugemont, so I need to go, where the hell is the commanding officer, since I can see I have to get in it. And it's about then that I realize I don't have the units on taking charge, which is something of a problem. So that I also realized that I need to spit out some skirmishers, so I do that really quick. So I wanted to put them in a spot where they can force the Allied guns further away from Hugemont. again since I recorded this and am voicing over in post. I can't just do that. Alright, so I'm now going to start moving up some of the infantry, whatnot, to reinforce my hold on Hugemont. Now, essentially, the goal here is to take 2nd Corps, part of 6th Corps, part of 1st Corps, and ram it right down the Allied array. That's basically how I'm going to win the battle, because I'm claiming having any unit, preferably the Imperial Guard, reach Mont St. Jean will count as a victory for me. So that means I need to go what Wellington has put, well, where Wellington's headquarters technically is closer to La Saint. He's pretty much right behind it. So there we go. I just tell them to charge, but then they immediately form squares, so I'd have to take the look. I can't call them back right now, so it's going to take a couple losses on the chin. I basically got them form square, that's what matters right now. So Bowden's brigade is basically taking the shit beat out of them. So I'm going to have to move forward Soy's brigade to reinforce. You can see them running away. What's left of Bowden there. Basically what's there on the left is Bowden's brigade right now. So you can see me moving forward a bunch of units. So here I go, telling Soy to move forward his brigade, so I can reinforce the position there. Just drop the cap to my bottle. Where'd it go? There it is. So I'm gonna spit a couple skirmishers so I can oh boy, what's going on? Why did the screens go black? Don't do that to me. There we go. So I'm spitting out a couple skirmishers so I can plop them in front of the cannons, so I don't have to worry about them getting slaughtered. Since cannons, they can do a lot of damage, but they're, well, glass cannons, really. As soon as the line infantry starts shooting at them, they just evaporate. So you want to keep them protected. They are very useful tools, both offensively and defensively. So here I am, I'm pulling back the cavalry brigade. I can see they're starting to form up squares there, so don't want to engage them. But that's a lot of cavalry right there behind on the Allied right, so I'm going to need to combine infantry, cannon, my way through that. Well, preferably infantry cavalry my way through it, but, you know. Alright, so I'm basically pulling this cavalry back as well. Pulled forward, so I basically have this small gap forming in the line, but it's basically somewhat being covered, but it's basically all the Hugemont right now serving as a linchpin in the line. If it falls, the line's split. Bonaparte's division is basically going to be hanging out the breeze. See, right there is one of those Hanoverian. It's actually one of the foot guards. And I very much would like for them to not take Hugemont back. But right now my big worry is these foot guards right in front of what is rapidly becoming Soy's brigade. Because Balance Brigade is almost ceased to exist at this point. I'm very good at that, actually. I've noticed that I like to use a unit until it's completely annihilated. Or as I prefer, Watford. Wiped the fuck out. So I'm just going to move forward the cannons here so I can continue to abuse French artillery. Since the French army has somewhere around 250 cannons to, what, 96 guns, I think? Like, the French, if they cannot bury the Allies in just artillery, you're doing it wrong. So I'm moving some extra forces so I can reinforce Hugemont if I need to, and I'm also preparing for the, well, as I'm going to be calling it, the main push, which is going to be the linchpin. It's basically where I'm going to shove through. I'm just going to take a division from 3rd Corps, move it over, take another division from 3rd Corps to have that take La Haye-Sainte, the building there in the middle of the Allied line, and after that, the main assault will just go straight up, just gut punch Wellington's, I think it's third Corps, who basically have all been suckered slowly over into fighting whatever's left of the 6th Division. Now, I'm confident I can hold this position, but I'm not confident I can hold this position without taking the casualties I want to take, which I want to trade casualty ratio about 1 to 4. So for every one of me, I want to kill about 4 of them. But I am not confident I can maintain that casualty ratio. I can either keep going, why 1 to 4? It's because when the Prussians arrive, I'm not going to have a lot of free time on my hands, so I want to have the best possible KD up until that point, because they're going to bring it way the hell down. So these guys are basically sitting way out here on the breeze. I don't know why they're so far over, but I basically move them over. The reason I didn't just turn on the button there on the bottom to take charge off the unit is because one of their artillery batteries, it's the rightmost battery on the Grand Battery. It's the unit right there on the So I'm basically going to ignore the Allied right, and then about 2:30, I'm going to be turning around the units of Delon's Corps to face off the Prussians, and as well as parts of the Grand Battery. Alright, so I'm going to be basically just making the line pretty right now. There's not too much going on. I'm moving about over to the Place Noir. There's Jamin, one of the divisional commanders. There's the Laval's reserve artillery commander. There's Ryle, the man in the spotlight today. So I'm going to be using these cavalry later. Well, hopefully using this cavalry later, so I'm going to move it up. I have run out of soda. I guess I'm on the water. Boo. It's all gone now. But those Coldstream units, I'm getting a little tired of them. I'm feeling confident at this point. Well, I kind of want to just get rid of them real quick. I'm thinking maybe if I pump out a couple extra skirmishers, I can get rid of them quicker. So you see the line of Coldstream Guards. When we can actually see them anyway. It's starting to look a little raggedy. It's starting to lose quite a few men. Alright, so Soy's Brigade, they're currently in the green for casualties. Men lost, casualties inflicted. You can tell by just looking quickly at the grade. But the grade can also be affected by sitting on a capture point, just accumulating points. So if you want to figure out if your KD is actually positive, what you do is you look at the two red numbers off this to the right of the blue one and green one. If the one at the bottom is bigger, then you're doing good. It's not hard to maintain a positive ratio anyway against the Allies. It's a bit harder against the French. And that's mainly because the French just possess a better troop quality than the Allies on average anyway. The troop quality for the French army is 5 to 6 on average. And that's basically something along the lines of seasoned to veteran troops. The Allied line, on the other hand, it suffers from quite a few units that are lesser quality, shall we say. They're just basically tier 3 troops, which are essentially militia, basically trash, essentially, as far as this battle is concerned. So I'm just rearranging some more batteries on the very extreme of the Grand Battery there, because not all the guns are firing, and I find that a waste of resources. So I've essentially moved the guns up so that I can rapidly, when I need to, just assault that position. So just essentially just getting everything ready for this big push. I'm essentially moving them in the column half interval. There's bigger spacing between the lines, just because I'm just bored at this point. I've essentially secured the Hugemont. I don't really see the Allies pushing me off. I really just don't want them to break the 6th Division. If I lose this position, it's going to be a lot harder to hold Hugemont. And I hold Hugemont is what's important right now, since holding it will make it easier to essentially just pave the way for any future assault. Essentially serves as a breakwater, so you kind of just want to take it preferably with the least amount of casualties possible. So here, I just decided, you know what, we're just gonna charge these 2 battalions, just get them out of there. Soy's Brigade, the outnumber's almost 3 to 1 at this point. Pretty sure I whittled those 2 battalions down to about 500 men each, so. It's a little bit of a kerfluffle, because they have to go through. They very specifically can't go through the other units. They have to go around them. So I could have done this a little bit better, but it all works out. It's not too bad. So I just kind of give up and said, you know what, just charge. And I realized, oh, that's also one of his units. Crap. So I told that unit to retreat real quick. I'm just trying to reintegrate it back into its parent unit, but it's just not working out. So it is what it is. But then I just go back into spamming that charge button, and you're going to see very quickly what I mean. That blue button, the grade, you want that one. If that one's going up, you're doing good. So the first unit of the Coast Guards, they get pushed off. Great. Now I'm on to the second one. As I'm just trying my damnedest brigade past that artillery battery. So essentially I can push forward some more units as soon as that battery. That's what Jamin's Brigade's back there for. I don't actually want Soy's Brigade on the front line. I want them in reserve in case that infantry division comes over. Alright, so boom, they're running away. Okay. I contemplated for a moment, but then I was like, I told him to go move in the double line. But then I was like, you know what? No. Let's have to move back, form double line. And I thought about that a little bit more. And I realized, you know what? let's just move up the cavalry, dude, and have them shove those guns off there. Have them in the line, and then let's take Jamin's brigade. Have them do the actual assault, so shove those guns off. So that combined infantry cavalry, that should be able to push the Allied line away from Hugemont and fully secure it so that I don't have to worry about it anymore. Alright, and you can see Soy's brigade is just all over the damn place. So I very quickly just tell it to go. Just go backwards essentially. Now I move the cavalry a bit closer to the line. And I start moving up some other cavalry. Boy, well, it's time for him to get some big time assistance. So this is Ryle sitting there, and there's Bonaparte. You can see the high side that as soon as I take that, probably around 2:30, at least that's the time frame I'm going to take it. That's when the big assault will start, which is all these units you see here between Hugemont, and that'll be the kicker. Just be a meat grinder all the way to Mont Saint Jean. Oh. Okay. Oh boy. I hope it... Okay, yep, it's working. I thought the recording thing had stopped working for a moment, and I was like, oh, no, crap. I don't want to have to go back and do the past 10.5 minutes. That would suck. Alright, well, you can see the cavalry's starting to go in. Soy's brigade's pulled out a bit. I'm bringing forward another artillery battery, the battery from Pyre's division. I essentially just want to keep moving the artillery forward so it continues to be of use, because that just leaving it back there is just stupid. It's not going to do anything back there. Okay, yeah, and I'm just bringing the artillery forward. Now, I do know that this isn't the best looking game out there, but I'm not playing it because it looks good. I'm playing it because I want to feel the scale of an actual battle, which, I mean, it's kind of always been my gripe with Sega's Total War series. It doesn't feel like an actual battle. So I like the Darth Mod series. It's the more popular series. It's the more widespread. It actually makes the battles a lot bigger, but the Napoleon Total War 3, the NTW3 for Napoleon Total War. It's a great mod. Boots in a lot of realism, but then there's the Scourge of War, which is just something else entirely. You can't get away with the Napoleon Total War tactic of just stretch your line all the way out, because when you can't do that when you're charging, it just doesn't work. So there's the orchards, letting the artillery hammer away at it, just having their fun. So you can see they've really been giving those guys the great news. They're just out of musket range essentially, so it's all working out. But those two brigades right there on the left side, they'll be the ones to take Lysa. Once they take Lysa, it would take a rush to take that ridge right there. So Jamin's brigade is now moving up. Jamin's brigade is moving up, the cavalry is moving up. So I do realize that the positioning of those units aren't the best, so I move them basically beside the artillery battery of the 6th Division, and I move the 2 infantry battalions around a little bit. So the cavalry just charged them. I'm not really controlling those 2 brigades. I'm just letting them do their thing, really. I'm doing a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's just the AI doing its thing. So I'm moving forward some skirmishers that I've detached from the brigade there. Some Gauntier's brigade to push back the artillery before they deliver a lot of canister to Jammin's brigade, which would really not help Jammin in any way. Alright, so we can see I've moved the 2nd Corps up pretty significantly. It's so been a pretty decent push. The line's basically resembling something in the first L right now. So I'm trying to wrap around the Allied right, but still little things that matter. Okay. So there's not a lot going on right now. It's just let I'm just letting the AI work on the assaults on the flank, so I'm just gonna start moving the cavalry around behind Dolan's corps, make it look pretty a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out where this guy actually is. I just give up and say, you know what, I'll just figure it all out in a minute. And I just move him around. Strangely, he's not with his actual units, which I find irritating. I figure out where this guy is. He's sitting behind the Belle Alliance, which is essentially the center of the French line. And then I just move him up, basically. So, you know. And I'm up the next cavalry division behind me. What will be the fun part of the next episode and a half, basically, essentially. Essentially, if I'm not fighting the Prussians, I'm going to be looking right over there. And then I can take the last of Milhaud's cavalry and smack it behind the 1st Corps. There's the Comte d'Arlon, the commander of 1st Corps. There's Napoleon right beside him. There is one of the divisional commanders of 1st Corps. And I just tell these guys to charge the artillery, just get them out of there. I just start giving Jammin some hints, like, hey, you know, move forward, that'd be great. But overall, I'm just essentially secure the point. And I think about sending them for another charge, but I see the other cavalry there, and no. Although I do not notice that they countercharged, and if only I had no. Yeah, no, I didn't notice that. Damn it. I hope that my own guy, the AI noticed countercharges. Like, okay, the AI sent in a 2nd squadron, okay. Hurry up, watching cavalry action. I wished I had noticed myself. Alright, so I paused the... No, I'm not. Okay. My audio has cut in. Fantastic. Well, I don't need audio, I just need to sing. Since the soundtrack of the game is amazing. Since it has non-actual battles. So I'm looking over towards Hugemont from the Bonaparte's division. We can see Jammin is making progress. doing something, and this is where we're going to stop the first episode.